All right, guys, here we have metric conversions in set 53 and then weight combinations by percentages. Metric conversions are very similar to our US conversions that we've been doing. These three that are listed here are the three that you're going to need to remember. If you don't know these off the top of your head, which is fine, you are going to want to write them down and then you're going to need to memorize these. Okay? Uh, all right, let's go get to it. We're just going to set all of these up. All right, 572 centimeters into kilometers. So 572 centimeters. Centimeters is in the top, so I'm going to write it into the bottom. And we're going to convert it into meters. So 100 centimeters is 1 meter. So my centimeters cancel. Now meters is in the top, so I'm going to put it into the bottom. And now I want it into kilometers. And so 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. So we have 572 on the top and 100 times 1,000 on the bottom. And what you're left with is going to be kilometers because that's our only label left in this one. All right, 423 square kilometers into square centimeters. Really important that we're watching that it says square. So 423 square kilometers is the same thing as kilometers squared. There are 2 of the kilometers there. So that means we have to put 2 kilometers into our denominators to be able to cancel out both of them. So we're going to go kilometers into meters. So 1,000 meters is 1 kilometer. And now we have 2 meters we need to get rid of. And we're going to put them into centimeters. Okay, 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So if I'm just going to do out the math and not actually do it, I end up with 423 times 1,000 times 1,000 times 100 times 100. And my answer is going to be centimeters squared because I have 2 centimeters left. Okay, next, convert 60 miles per hour to kilometers per second. All right, this one's going to be a little bit longer. Miles per hour, because we have to take care of converting miles into feet, into inches, and then inches into centimeters, centimeters into meters, meters into kilometers. And we have to do hours into seconds. So let's do hours into seconds first, and I'll do that in one color, and then I'll do miles into kilometers in another one. Okay, hours in the bottom, and so we're going to put minutes in the bottom, hours in the top then, so it cancels. Now we have minutes in the bottom, so we got to put minutes in the top and seconds in the bottom. So that right there took care of converting from hours to seconds. Now we're going to convert into miles into feet. So miles is in the top. So we're going to put miles in the denominator. So 5,280. Feet into inches. Feet was in the top. So now inches is in the top. Inches into centimeters. Inches was in the top. So now it's in the bottom. 2.54. That was from that first slide. Okay, centimeters into meters. So centimeters goes in the bottom. Meters goes in the top. And now meters into kilometers. And 1,000. So meters is canceled. All right, so let's just write what we have for math. We have a 60 on the top, 5,280, a 12, a 2.54, all over 60, 60, 100, and 1,000. All right, so there we have. That's just the work. I'm not calculating it out for you. That's just our work to see what we have from miles per hour to kilometers per second. Okay, so now we're going to talk about our percentage by weight of potassium chlorate. What percent by weight of potassium chlorate is the potassium? So these ones we set up just like our other problems, but now instead of saying, hey, here it is in one molecule, find it in 472 of them, now we're just going to say, hey, here it is in one molecule, find the percentage in this molecule. Okay, so there's 1 of my potassium, we have 1 of our chlorate, and we have 3 oxygen. So I'm going to end up with 39 and 35. Now their oxygen is worth 16 each, so 3 times 16, I get 48. Okay, so I add all these up, 122. See, all of this should look familiar and the same. Okay, so now what percent by weight is the potassium? So I'm going to potassium over the total. And I'm going to make this into a percentage. Let's round it to 2 decimal places. So that puts us at 31 point, I think it was 97. Let me just double check on my calculator here. Yep, it was 967, so that tells us it rounds to 97 for 2%, or 2 decimal places. All right, there you have it for set 53.